Hey there. A little bit of a Thursday. Really, my hair's getting quite disheveled as time goes on. Although I guess my parents would say that this is like a normal hair length. I don't really have too much to say. I've been watching a little bit of Westworld season 3, very exciting show. I love the first season. Second season a little confusing, but other than that, TV is kind of one of those things where it's like a huge time sink. It's kind of like video games. Although I guess in my perspective, I would think of watching TV as being like a step below video games because really video games can sink so much time in terms of how much time you could be losing to it. TV shows is a little bit more limited, it seems. But ideally, I'll be just doing more reading. But I don't know, something got into me and I was like, I want to watch Westworld Season 3. And it's quite an excellent show. I don't really know how much to say about it. It's not particularly thought provoking as a show. I mean, it's just a drama, so not much to say over there. I do think it's quite interesting how TV has kind of transformed over time. It's Netflix and HBO that kind of brought to life like amazing television, right? Like there's so many TV producers and creators that are like receiving like 9-figure deals. Although it's kind of interesting to think about, right? They say 9 figures, but that's the entirety of the contract. But I guess that's kind of important. I don't know. But I think eventually like the same thing will be said of video games. Although I don't know if it's to the same respect because it becomes exponentially more complicated, right? I would imagine that producing a television series is a little bit more complicated than producing like a sports program. And then I would think of the complexity as being order of magnitude greater when it comes to producing a video game over producing a film. Well, I guess in a sense, like it's actually not more complicated because if you consider the logistics that happens with films. But I don't know, it's pretty fascinating the progression of media over time, just the movement from theatric movies to kind of home movies and home television, which is like absolutely incredible creations of content. And even from before the movies, you have like books and whatnot. And I guess the next step would be like video games. Although video games are really absolutely incredible. Although I don't really play much of the really incredible ones. I guess the move will be that there won't be any more home consoles, right? Eventually every video game is going to be played off a cloud and then that's going to be accessible to like a massive wide audience. Because there is still a barrier to entry in terms of video games where you have to buy a video game console or maybe your computer has to have a certain amount of hardware. Well, I guess to think about it, a lot of the revenue that comes in from video games is actually not like the classical gaming that I would think of, which is like console gaming and PC gaming. I mean, for the most part, I think most of video game revenue comes from mobile games, which is also really incredible. But I guess the complexity and quality of the games, mobile gaming, will probably increase dramatically as time goes on because you won't have to run everything on the phone, and then you can pretty much have unlimited potential by running everything off the cloud and just streaming the video down into your phone. Man, it's going to be an exciting time. But yeah, that's all from me. Just a little bit of a talk from media. Happy Thursday. Almost a weekend. Oh my gosh, here is a vegetarian meal. I'm getting kind of I don't know, I can't describe it except from call it junk food stomach. I'm just like having that all that pork belly. Oh, it's a little too much of a good thing. So today, taking it easy with some, I was going to say roasted carrots, but they're not roasted, but some baby carrots with some egg noodles. A vegetarian meal. Nom nom. All right there, how you doing? How you doing? I'm doing okay. I mean, just something I think about quite a bit is kind of like the nuance of warfare, so to speak. So just thinking about World War II, right? Pretty much that's a pinnacle of pure destructive power in terms of atomic weapons. And as a result, you don't really see like top nations go at it in a direct way anymore. Now, I would say like warfare is a lot more nuanced. But then I guess the scary thing is because of how nuanced it can get, actually a lot of things can actually reverse and become way more direct and forceful, right? Or a really clear example about this is the 2016 elections, right? With Russian manipulation and changing the outcome of the election is actually a huge kind of nuanced warfare, right? I mean, to manipulate another country's government is definitely very toxic in a way. Because for the most part, you can actually see that there's a lot of elections that happened during the 2016 election cycle, right? It's not just the presidency. There could be many officials who were kind of the public's opinion may have swayed one way or another to kind of get a particular candidate over. But the really scary thing is just the way that lists will continue to go on as technology gets more and more advanced. I mean, think about the internet, like there's no tool that you can use to sway elections so well, right? And I guess in the past people would buy out newspapers and kind of manipulate the public opinion through that. But with the internet, it's just that it's so invasive and the algorithm makes it so automatic is that you can influence a ton of people and almost social engineer certain outcomes because you can actually target specific people to have different kind of messages, right? It's just we haven't seen anything like this before. And think about coronavirus. People can manufacture a bioweapon that can be many times stronger than coronavirus, more infectious, less detectable. It's absolutely insane, right? And it's almost impossible to trace. I mean, I think we only know that the virus came from China because of the outbreak there. I mean, that's even an assumption, right? Technically, it is possible that the virus can come from anywhere. And it's just scary to think that in the future, with enough engineering, you can actually manipulate a virus that can pretty much infect a whole nation. Although I guess in a sense it's going to be like nuclear warfare, where it's very likely that the virus will actually come back to your own country, right? It's absolutely insane, but just thinking about how times change, and I guess warfare always changes, and it's sad to see. Kind of scary future thoughts there, so I'll just leave it at that. I'll see you later.